beware, beware. This is a warning. The Grim Reaper of Radio, Bob Romanik, with his off-the-record show is about to air. He's probably the nastiest and craziest son of a bitch that you've ever had the misfortune to encounter. The Grim Reaper show will be very controversial and probably quite tasteless. If you are even slightly offended by controversial matter concerning religion, racial matters, politics, or life's problems, you are hereby warned to turn this program off immediately. The Grim Reaper show will be, like his face, very scary and very ugly. At this time, not proudly, but shamefully presents to you Bob Romanik, the craziest son of a bitch on the radio today.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, America's bi-state voice of freedom, your guardian of the First Amendment, Radical Radio, and you're very, very shortly going to hear how radical this radio is. So if you don't like it, turn the son of a bitch off, because I'm going to be offensive to the rotten bastards that need to be offended. Radical Radio again. And we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. Good Thursday morning. We're going to get all over Washington Park, and I want to say, this is not casting a bad light on Mayor Ann Rogers. I think she's tried to do a good job. This is not casting a bad light on Ray Coleman, the consultant for the Village of Washington Park. And if I thought they were wrong, I'd have no problem. But I don't think they're wrong on this one. I just think the situation's wrong, and we're going to get into it. And once we get into this, people, you're going to understand the complexity and the term culture of corruption in St. Clair County, because people are afraid. People are afraid of these rotten bastards. And they are rotten bastards, but we'll get to that momentarily. Third annual Veterans Day tribute New Year's Day poker run. Friday, January the 1st. The American Legions of Albers, Beckemeyer, Breeze, Germantown, and New Baden. They present their third annual New Year's Day poker run. The radio station will be participating, hopefully, unless somebody shoots me or kills me in the meantime, and that's, if you're a betting man, bet on it. Proceeds to benefit the Veterans Tribute to Kaskaskia College. It's open to all vehicles. Doesn't make any difference what kind of. We're taking the clown car out there. You can take your Volkswagen if you want, because it's for a great cause. Going to be cash prizes. Attendance prizes will be awarded. The shotgun start at 11 o'clock from any of the sponsoring legions. Rides will end at the Breeze Legion at 5 p.m. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call Bob Nettemeyer at the Albers Legion, 618-248-5602. Or Terry Becker at 618-526-7302. Okay, that's for the Kaskaskia College tribute to the veterans. Trying to get all this together. Give me a break. Don't rush me, because I go crazy when I get rushed. Kaskaskia River House. They're having a lot of events coming out. You heard me talk about the new Kaskaskia River House in New Athens, Illinois. What a great place. December the 19th, they'll have Gypsy Jones in concert. So I don't have a telephone number right now, but if you guys want to get out and have a good time close to home, New Athens, the River House, Kaskaskia River House is the place to be. The American Legion Post, 1937. They're having their paddle wheel meat raffle this Sunday at TR's Place, 4901 Concordia Church Road. It starts at noon. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call their commander, Jim Farbus, at 618-409-1212. You can pick me up on iTunes. Type in Bob Romanik and or the Grim Reaper of Radio. You can go to our streaming, insanebroadcasting.com. One word, common spelling for all three of our great stations. please like us on Facebook at KQQZ 1190 AM or our sister station, KZQZ, for 5,000 of the best 50s and 60s, the best golden oldies ever. You can also hear my repeat performance every day at 4 o'clock p.m. and also now broadcasting from the graveyard to the graveyard shift every night, Monday through Friday at the stroke of midnight. On this date, December the 17th, Aviation Day. Today is Aviation Day. The Wright brothers made their first sustained flight on this day in 1903 at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. It lasted about probably the same amount of time that some of these politicians have sex. Yeah, they'd be bragging. It lasted 12 seconds and reached a height of 12 feet. On this date, December the 17th, 1791, New York City traffic regulations created the first one-way street back in 1791. On this date, December the 17th, 1843, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens was published in London. On this date, December the 17th, 1969, the United States Air Force closed its Project Blue Book by concluding there was no evidence of extraterrestrial spaceships behind thousands of UFO sightings. On this date, a great date for Mark Sweet Cakes Kern. And he may be upset because Tiny Tim got married. But on this date, December the 17th, 1969, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. You know, that goofy singer that I think was gay. I don't know. Tiny Tim. Remember that? Tiptoe Through the Tulips married Miss Vicky on The Tonight Show back in 1969, an appropriate year. And I believe if Mark Sweet Cakes Kern had a political theme song, I think Tiptoe Through the Tulips would be fitting of that. It perfectly fits you, Mark Sweet Cakes Kern, and I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. On this date, December the 17th, 1975, Lynette Fromm was sentenced to life in prison on her attempt on President Ford's life. On this date, December the 17th, 1994, 6 shots were fired at the White House by an unidentified gunman. On this date, a really great day, December the 17th, 1999, the United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution designating November the 25th as the annual International Day to eliminate violence against women. That's what happened on this date, December the 17th, throughout all these years in our world's history. Got a bunch of emails. I'm going to take time out to read some. I hardly ever have time. This is from Ryan Don Carlos. Good family. And Ryan, your pop guy, what a great guy. And I just want to thank him for being such a great individual and a great fighter for justice in St. Clair County. But Ryan says, Bob, every day my dad and I are driving home from work and we listen to your show and wait for Carl Officer to say, well, Bob, at the end of the day. So I was thinking Carl could use the same graphics he uses for his political yard signs and put them on pillowcases because it's the last thing you see at the end of the day. Ryan Don Carlos, thank you very much. I think that's more of a funeral director's language. Carl does say at the end of the day because, you know, there's going to be an end of the day for all of us, and it's not going to be pretty. And thank you very much. And Don Carlos, Guy Don Carlos, keep up the good work, you and your lovely wife. You guys are great freedom fighters, and we appreciate you. Mike Cruz, and we'll talk about this momentarily. Mike Cruz says, hey, I was a police officer in Culver City, California for 10 years, and then moved back here to Washington Park to live with a sick family member. I wanted to be a police officer in that town I grew up in, the great village of Washington Park. But after hearing your show today, I don't think I will. You can count on my vote. I didn't know that Herbie, Simmons, and Kern had that much control over the people in St. Clair County. No, sir, it's not control. It's intimidation, and we're going to stop that. It shocks me, he says, that arsonists can be on the fire department. Thanks for supporting the boys in blue. And, Mike, I support every professional law enforcement officer, not the bums with the badges, but the professional law enforcement officers. The boys in Culver City always said on the radio, Mike Cruz has my back. Well, here in Washington Park, Bob Romanik, you have mine. Mike Cruz, thank you very much. I wish you the best in your endeavors, Mike, whatever you end up. So be safe, and always in our world today, be careful. Let's see, got this. I want to say hi to Jerry Nichols Jr. and all the great guys at Inland Technologies in Millstadt. They listen all the time. They're having their Christmas party today. A great crew out at Inland Technologies. They're fabricators of electrical boxes. I believe they're members of Electrical Workers Union 309. So I want to salute you guys, all the electrical union workers, and all the hardworking men and women, not the bastards at the courthouse in their suits and ties, but all the hardworking men and women who every day help run this country, help make this country great, and help this country survive. Unlike these rotten bastards making $130,000 a year, they never busted a grape in their life. No good son of a bitches. But hey, all you guys at Inland Technology in Millstadt, Illinois, Jerry Nichols Jr. and the boys, thank you very much for listening. But more than that, thank you for a great job you're doing for this, well, hopefully still great country of the United States of America. Ted, thank you very much. You are so right about the Washington Park arsonist. It made national TV all over the place last night. So, Ted, thank you very much for that information. I knew that was going to happen. Here's the deal on sweet cakes from Mary Ann. Bob, I'm on the West Coast today, and I'm glad I can pick up your broadcast. I just have to adjust for the time difference. When my husband retired from the Army 22 years ago, he went to the county to apply for a job. He spoke with Mark Sweet Cakes Kern and was told there were no openings. But a few weeks later, we found out he hired a political ally with no military service. We have had no respect for him since. And yes, Rose Wilson is a puppet for the Kern and Eckert clan. Wishing you and yours a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year. Mary Ann, thank you very much. You guys heard me yesterday about Washington Park. How egregious. And I was misinformed somewhat, so I'm going to change what I said. I said it was Jason Simmons, who was the captain or the assistant chief on the Washington Park Police Department, the one that had been charged with arson. It was not Jason, it was Jeremy. Jeremy Simmons, that's another one of the sons of Herb Simmons. But in the same vein, I have to tell you, Jason Simmons, his other son, just got out of federal prison on drug and narcotics charges. Just got out of prison, and I've got the date here, and I'll give it to you momentarily. But I said yesterday that it was Jason Simmons. It was Jeremy Simmons. You guys heard me yesterday. It's made news all over St. Louis. It made national news, as the one lady sent me an email. Charlie Schreiber, he's the chief out there, the Washington Park Fire Department. I was told that he tried to get some black firefighters. Do you think he's really tried? Or does he want to take care of his boss? Because not only is Charlie Schreiber the chief of the fire department in Washington Park, he's also a police officer in East Carondelet, Illinois. So I don't know. Charlie Schreiber, is this a payback for putting Herbie the Hemorrhoid Simmons' two sons with felonies on the Washington Park Fire Department? Sure looks that way to me, Charlie Schreiber, and I think it looks that way to everybody else listening. Someone said that the city was afraid to get rid of this rotten crap that Charlie Schreiber has perpetuated and put on the good people of Washington Park. They're all white. Charlie Schreiber's white. Jason Simmons, white. Just got out of prison in May for narcotics charges. That's Herbie Simmons, Herbie the Hemorrhoid Simmons, the big shot. Mark Sweet Cakes Kern, right-hand man. They talk about me being a felon. There's son of a bitches all over the place, and it's their family members. And they probably should be felons. But Jason Simmons just got out of federal prison for narcotics violations. That's Herbie Simmons' one son. Herbie Simmons' other son, Jeremy, has been found guilty. Oh, I'm sorry, not even found guilty. When you're found guilty, that means somebody says you're guilty and the jury says you're guilty. Jeremy Simmons pled out to these arson charges, and I'm going to get to them momentarily. But I ask, why the hell Why the hell don't they recruit some proud blacks to work in the fire department? They tell me that Shriver and those guys ran them all out, that there's racial divides. And I'm not a racist by any means, but I think there should be a black fire chief and black firemen in a black town. Now, I'm all for diversity, but I'll be damned, I'm a realist. Not a racist, I'm a realist. If you tell me you can't get a black fire chief in Washington Park, you're disrespecting the entire black community like there's no black people that are qualified for that position. And there's a lot of proud blacks that are qualified to be the fire chief in Washington Park. You just have to search a little bit. I remember back in the day, Alvin Parks was going to hire this hillbilly. And I'm not saying that bad or trying to say anything, bad about this guy, but he was from Louisiana, Missouri, going up to Quincy. Had no business, a white guy, a goofy white guy. And Parks was going to make him the chief of police on an all-black town? That's just totally nothing to do with racism. It's what's right or wrong. Now, if you search and you can't find a black chief that's qualified, then you got to do what you got to do. I would say the same thing. If it's a white town, I think it's disrespectful to the white community. Now, maybe it's not politically correct to say that, but I'm saying what everybody, both black and white, are saying. We can all live together, but there's certain things that just have to be done. Certain things that have to be done. I don't see, and I don't cast any bad light on the churches of East St. Louis. I don't see any white pastors down there at the black churches. You know why? Because it's a black congregation. And I understand that. And that's the way it is. But Charlie Shriver, the fire chief in Washington Park, not only does he have Jeremy Simmons on the fire department, the one that pled out to 2 arson charges and got probation because he was Herbie Simmons' son, and we'll get into that. Now he's got Jason, who just got out of federal prison on drug charges. They tell me he's a volunteer firefighter in Washington Park. And now they got Jordan Simmons, Herbie Simmons' grandson, who, by the way, Herbie got a job with the St. Clair County Highway Department, and for whatever reason, Jordan Simmons, his grandson, is no longer working there. I'll bet you good people couldn't get your grandson a job. Well, no, because you ain't all up Mark Sweetcake's Kern's ass. You see, that pisses me off. But anyway, here we go. Jeremy Simmons was charged with arson after setting a vacant house fire and helping put it out. Mayor's son, this is from the Belleville News, a Slimocrat. Mayor Simmons' son charged with arson. Firefighter Jeremy Simmons, son of Mayor Herbie Simmons, East Carondelet, was charged with arson Saturday for setting a vacant house on fire and then going to put it out. Hell, no wonder everybody wants him. I bet you he's got a good response time. I bet you he's got a great response time, the fire. Hey, the fire started at 4:30 in the morning, and Jeremy Simmons responded at 4:31 in the morning. Hell, let's give him an award. Jeremy Simmons, firefighter, son of Mayor Herb Simmons, East Carondelet, charged with setting arson in a vacant house and then putting it out. Then he's behind his dad's, I guess, hey, Herbie, it was a 1992 Chevrolet Astro that he was driving, which was your van. Where the hell were you at that time, Herbie? I'm just asking. It says the Simmons and the van come from the direction that the house was just being put on fire. Chad Simmons, Herbie's nephew, told police that he was with Jeremy, and Jeremy stopped at the vacant house, set the house on fire. Here's Chad Simmons involved. Hell, Herbie, what the hell's going on? Was there something in that nasty water in East Carondelet? And there's a lot of good people in East Carondelet. The Simmons family just aren't part of it. Simmons' bond was set at $50,000. Now, that was charged for burning up a vacant house. 2 weeks later, Herbie Simmons, Mayor of East Carondelet's son's charged with another crime. Jeremy Simmons was charged with using a flashing blue light, a felony, after pulling over a car and telling the driver he was a deputy U.S. Marshal. The van is owned by Simmons' father, East Carondelet Mayor Herb Simmons, who is a deputy marshal. Herbie Simmons was a deputy marshal. And I think he was more of an, police departments have information officers. Herbie was more of an information officer for Marion Mickelon, the U.S. attorney at that time. And when I say information officer, I believe he was giving her a lot of information against the guys that are now feeding him at the tune of about $90,000 a year. But that's what loyalty gets you, nothing, because they eat their own. Anyway, young Simmons, Jeremy Simmons, was charged with impersonating a police officer. Like his father, should be charged with impersonating a human being, a decent human being. So anyway, a police officer in a residence said he saw fleeing the area of the fire after he pulled the guy over. And now, arson in school brings second arson charge against, guess who? I bet you can't guess. Jeremy Simmons, the son of Mayor Herb Simmons of East Carondelet, set a fire in the basement of the Dupo Community High School on January the 15th. What the hell? The school charged, the arson charge came 5 days. 5 days after an associate judge lowered Simmons' bond from $50,000 to $15,000. And that's because of the political hookups. You couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. Charged with burning Dupo Community High School. It says the latest charge kept Simmons in jail Wednesday, but I hear he got out the next day, because you know how they play the game up there. The school fire, a month before the house fire. So there's two fires. The pending charges, the two fires, the impersonating a deputy marshal. And Herbie, let me tell you what. It says that you were a deputy marshal. You wouldn't make a pimple. You wouldn't make a pimple on a deputy marshal's ass, you no good piece of political crap. And I just thought I'd throw that out because it says Simmons' father, East Carondelet Mayor Herb the Hemorrhoid Simmons, is a deputy marshal in addition to operating a ambulance service, which defunct after some time, but everything Herbie does, in my opinion, gets screwed up. Two arson charges, impersonating a deputy U.S. Marshal, another felony, and now former firefighter pleads guilty of the arson. This is the most egregious. Jeremy Simmons, the captain now of the Washington Park Fire Department in East Carondelet, was sentenced to, listen to this, people, pled out to 2 arsons, impersonating a deputy marshal, 3 big felonies, 4 years probation on the arson charges, and another 30 years probation to run concurrent on the deputy marshal situation. Probation. Do you hear me, people? 3 separate felony incidents. Burning 2 places down, trying to burn the school down. And he gets probation. And it said prosecutors agreed to probation. Well, sure they did. Because Herbie the Hemorrhoid Simmons produces a few votes out there in East Carondelet. He's always kissing. You see him on Facebook. I don't look at Facebook. Mark Kerr, 19 years helping people out. What a great man. Well, you guys don't get so close to each other because there are same-sex marriages allowed in Illinois. And I've never seen anybody kiss anybody's ass as much as Herb Simmons. And you know what? Kern likes that. Kern wants his ass kissed. Somebody ought to kick him in his ass, politically, of course. Unbelievable, people. And now, you've heard the rest of the story. Washington Park has Jeremy Simmons, who pled out to 2 arson charges, impersonating a deputy marshal, another felony, federal felony, pled out to the arson charges, got probation because of who his daddy was. Now he's a leader, one of the leaders of the Washington Park Fire Department. His brother, Jason Simmons, who just got out of prison his federal number. He got out of prison on 5/28/15. His con number is 09381-025. You can go to the federal prisoner website location and get all that information. Here's 2 of the Simmonses. Now his grandson, Jordan Simmons, is there. They've got 3 of the Simmons, 2 with felonies, 1 that's burnt down just about next to everything. And they're with the Washington Park Police Department. I asked, Herbie, why don't you have them out on the East Carondelet Police Department? Maybe you'll get a good response to the fire there. Maybe the firemen out there, your relatives, then maybe there'll be a fire at 10:30 at night and they'll arrive at 10:30 and 30 seconds. What great employees to have. But Charlie Schreiber, I believe the only reason you're bringing those white boys out there because you want to pay back Herb the Hemorrhoid Simmons so you can be a dumbass policeman in East Carondelet when all you can do is arrest roaches and rats out there on the river. People think about it. That's what's going on in St. Clair County. That's why these bastards don't like me, because I expose all this crap. I talked about this 2 months ago. I didn't know this ignorant bastard was a Washington Park fireman. I knew his dad had appointed him, and it's been all over Facebook, as the public safety director in East Carondelet. Do you hear me? The public safety director is over the police and fire department in these municipalities. So after everything Jeremy Simmons has done, his daddy makes him the public safety director because, see, these people don't give a damn. There's no shame to their game. They're going to do what they want because, see, we here in St. Clair County let them. We let them. I'm not going to let them anymore. How egregious is this? And then there's the others, another white guy who's been convicted of arson, and we're getting his name. He's a Washington Park fireman. So here's the chief. Here's the 3 or 4 top leaders of the fire department, all white, and you got an arsonist in there. You've got a convicted narcotics charge guy in there. You've got another white guy who's an arsonist in there. What the hell? The village of Washington Park that I was a chief, that I grew up in and tried to help protect, they're not getting any protection. And again, I don't think it's Mayor Rogers. I just think she's just been made aware of this situation. I don't think it's Ray Coleman, the Washington Park city consultant. He's just been made aware of it. But I'm sure after the national exposure, after the exposure on all the news media in St. Louis and more exposure to come, I think they ought to ask for Charlie Schreiber's resignation. He knew what he was doing. And for the idiot to get on the air, on the news, and say, oh, yeah, I know they're arsonists. That's okay. I don't think they're going to do that anymore. Unless you're joined at the hip, Charlie Schreiber, how the hell can you make a stupid statement like that, you idiot? But that's what happens all throughout St. Clair County because these politically inbred bastards, they keep getting away with it. And you know why they get away with it? Because we let them. We let them get away with it. But again, Jeremy Simmons pled out to 2 arsons, impersonating a marshal. Now he's the captain on the fire department. Jason Simmons, the other son of Mayor Herbie the Hemorrhoid Simmons from East Carondelet, just got out of prison, and everybody deserves a second chance. But you can't be an arsonist and be on the fire department. It's like we said yesterday. That's like getting out of jail for being a pedophile, and then your daddy hiring you to be the head of the kindergarten class in the school district. It's asinine, people, but we let it happen. And for someone to say they're afraid of Herb Simmons, I think he's trying to throw his weight around because I'm always with Mark Kern. Hey, Mark Kern's the biggest piece of crap as you are. Nobody has to be afraid of a piece of crap unless you step on it and it smells. And I hope we step on both you bastards. Politically, of course, because you guys are worse than crap. You smell worse than crap. But I would just hope the good people of Washington Park are up in arms. Charlie Schreiber, you need to resign and take your KKK guys with you. Go back to East Carondelet. They don't deserve this negative publicity in Washington Park. There's enough things going wrong in Washington Park. Those good people are trying to fight through this economic situation, the crime situation, like the rest of these towns. They don't need the white boys coming to town. And not only coming to town, the white guys are coming to town and bringing disrespect to that community, to that proud black community. It doesn't need to be done. It shouldn't be done. And I don't think the good people of Washington Park are going to stand for it. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of Radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting at its finest. America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio. And we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are, as always, proud, very proud to be the Patriot. Before I forget, we simulcast on KZQZ. We're still increasing the not so much the power, but the clarity of our nighttime signal on 1430. We have to shut it off at night rather than shut it off at day so we can work on it. So we're still another day or two. And of course, it's like the contractor. I'll be in and out in a week. I'll fix your kitchen, remodel your kitchen in a week. Well, hell, if a week is 85 days, then they're out in a week. And it's the same way in the radio business and the car. We'll have your car tomorrow. Well, it'll be another day, 2 more days. And that's just the way it goes. But please bear with us. Our nighttime signal will be better than ever on KZQZ 1430 AM. We're hopefully finishing it up today or tomorrow. But just like KQQZ here, 1190, we were down for 3 or 4 days. But now the signal's booming everywhere. And that's what it'll be with KZQZ at the nighttime signal. So please, again, bear with us. This Washington Park situation, I've had so many callers. Hell, they blew up the lines. And you saw that on Channel 4. This idiot chief of police says, I know they have experience fighting fires. They're experienced firefighters. And I'd have to say, Chief, they may also, and I think also, are experienced in starting those same fires that they're fighting. Unbelievable. And then this ignorant Shriver says he hopes his own years of experience will end any concern. What the hell we worry about you? We are concerned about you for making such a stupid mistake. But see, I don't think it was a mistake. You did that for political reasons so you could keep your job in East Carondelet as a part-time policeman. See, these guys, these are one of the bums with badges, not professional police officers. These are the wannabe son of a bitches. But Charlie Schreiber says, the chief, I know, I'm aware. I know that they're convicted arsonists. They're not going to start any more fires. Then I just had about 4 or 5 people call, and they all asked the same question. A very, very good question. They all want to know, is there any correlation between all the recent fires in Washington Park and the new firefighters? They just wondered. What a hell of a good question to ask. And I wonder, is there any correlation, Chief? You're not with these guys night and day. You don't know what the hell's going on, and that pisses me off more than anything when these son of a bitches want to think we're idiots. Oh, I know they won't start any more fires. You don't know crap. You don't know what your family's going to do. Hell, people don't know what they're going to do from one minute to another. I know they're not going to start any more fires or anything like that. I'd like to know, are you a fortune teller, Shriver, you idiot? Unbelievable. I know both my deputy chief and my captains are convicted arsonists. But that's okay. And then Shriver says, I haven't broken any laws by having the 2 convicted arsonists in the fire department. And I kind of beg to disagree with you. I think if you use your position for personal gains, I think that is official misconduct, a state felony. And we're going to inquire about it. But more so than that, Shriver, do the honorable, the decent thing if you're capable. Take your boys and take them down to East Carondelet, the good people of Washington Park. They don't want to put up with your crap. I personally have heard that you guys are running out the black firemen. Now, what's it going to be, a white in essence? I'm not saying they are Ku Klux Klanners, but when you got a black city and you got a white, totally white fire department running it, do you think they really want any blacks in there? Or they want their own little good old boys club? And I say one more time, Charlie Schreiber, you idiot. Take your boys, take your arsonists, take your friends, take Herb Simmons' family, and get them out of Washington Park. Take them back to East Carondelet, where all that inbred Simmons crap goes on. Don't destroy the good people of Washington Park. They've got their own problems, and they don't need you stupid son of a bitches from East Carondelet. And I'm saying you stupid son of a bitches from East Carondelet. There's a lot of good people in East Carondelet. It just happens that the Shrivers and the Simmons aren't part of that group. I want to say real quick, this Murray Center situation, you always hear Charlie Meyer, my good friend, state representative out of Oakville, talk about it. And it's on about the 9th page. Prosecutors weigh disabled man's death. This is the guy that they, in essence, says in the paper, waterboarded. He was a resident there. And those poor people out there, I shouldn't say poor, they're not poor. They got great hearts. They're less fortunate because he wouldn't shut up. They started giving him another shower after he'd already had one. And it says his lips turned blue as he became unconscious and went into cardiac arrest. And now Clinton County State's Attorney John Hudspeth told the Associated Press on Tuesday he would expect to decide soon whether to file criminal charges. Well, State's Attorney in Clinton County, if you don't, I'm going to be all over your ass. These poor people, these less fortunate people, they deserve the same treatment that we all want. They deserve proper and respectful treatment. They're not my family. They're not your family, but they're sure somebody's family. And I know that's in Centralia. I know most people around here don't understand the situation, maybe never been through Centralia. I've been through the Murray Center, the Murray Development Center, and I just thank God if there is one, that I'm able to help those good people out rather than me be there and let them help me out. But it just pisses me off. Let's don't forget about the less fortunate. Let's don't put them on the back burner. There are people. There are people. And for somebody to let this crap happen and not do something, not have criminal charges, I'm challenging you, Clinton County State's Attorney John Hudspeth, to charge this man. Let the jury decide. Let a jury of his peers decide. Don't you decide. Don't let, like they do in these riots, let the public sentiment decide. Let's take our judicial system and put it properly to work. Let's do what we have to do for the people that can't do for themselves. And I don't want to get melodramatic, but it just pisses me off. These less fortunate people, and everybody going to put them on the back burner and not give a damn what happens to them? If we as decent people don't fight for their cause, nobody's going to fight because they're not capable. So let's think about the Murray Center. Let's think about every person that may have a problem, financial, medical, physical problem. And again, I'm not a real religious guy. But when you go through crap like we do in all of our lives, you got to take a minute to think. There's a lot of good people out there that need help. Now, there's a lot of rotten bastards that want help, that don't need help. They just want help. I don't want to help the people that just want help, that can help themselves. I want to help the people that need help, that can't help themselves. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM, Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, Radical Radio, and we are, as always, proud, very, very proud to be the Patriot.
From KQQZ 1190 AM, St. Louis, Missouri, USA, you're listening to Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio.
This is Bob Romanik, the Grim Reaper of radio, and you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane Broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and we are proud to be the Patriot. I appreciate all the calls. We're going to get on this Simmons situation again tomorrow because we can't take the calls. We've got about 5 minutes. But I do want to get airport consultant. They've hired a consultant, and they're paying these consultants, two consultants, $10,000 a month, people. We are. And the other consultant, $4,500 a month. We are the hardworking taxpayers of St. Clair County to try to make this airport successful. I say, what the hell are you doing, Tim Cantrell, other than have your head all up Sojay's ass, Kern's ass, Sprague's ass? You're making $135,000 a year screwing up the airport. And then they take our money, people, and give him a bonus for screwing up our airport. I said yesterday, hell, I'll screw it up twice as much for half as much money. They have to hire consultants, John Chang and Zitzo, somebody. They're hiring these guys to develop a business plan. Isn't that what the airport director at $135,000 a year in benefits does? He's an excellent asset to us. Well, hell yeah, $10,000 a month. I'd be a hell of an asset. But you watch, they're gearing up for election. All these people they're hiring, guarantee you look at the campaign contributions, and it'll be up there. And people of St. Clair County, it's been 18, 19 years, over $500 million our politicians, the Spragues, the Kerns, the Barra Civics have wasted. Are we not tired of it? We're not stupid. Let's all get together in 2016 and destroy this culture of corruption. These bastards are going to they've already put us in the poorhouse. And they're going to increase the wages for the people out there. Well, hell yeah, that's their political hires. Have you ever seen, and they're going to start it now because of an election year, do you ever see any advertisement for employment at the airport, for security, for fire? Hell no, you haven't. And that's what I'll demand Roger Cook, when he's elected St. Clair County Board Chairman, I will demand as a state representative that every position come up to be advertised. We don't want to put political hacks in there. We want to put you good people that are qualified, that have never, you hear me, had the opportunity to get in government work because of all the political corruption. I won't stand for it, and I'll demand that Roger Cook, and I think Roger's a good man, I think he'll be fighting for it too. I tell you, never seen a job. Firemen wanted at the airport. Policemen, security wanted at the airport. And when I took NBC News out there in September and they just aired that fleecing of America, there was nobody, nothing but pipe music at 5 o'clock on a Thursday, people. No security. Could have went in there and stole everything. We could have tore up everything. But they've sure got employees to do that. And they're putting a new fountain up, new waterproofing. They're bringing concrete repairs, bringing the project total to $303,000. And we're getting $20,000 a year from the airport to take our people to Las Vegas and Florida so they can spend all their money down there. I think that's a real wise business move, you idiots. It's amazing, people. The biggest debacle in this country. It's been on national news. And you guys are going to keep letting this happen? Roger Cook won't let it happen. I won't let it happen. And we're not the best guys in the world, but we're 1,000 times better than these rotten bastards that have screwed the hardworking taxpayers for the last 15, 20, 30, 40 years. It's time for a change, and we're going to have to make that change. But they get new contracts, consulting contracts, and then we pay Cantrell $135,000 a year. What the hell is wrong with that? We don't have enough time. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the protesters. The gentleman, the officer was found not, or it was a hung jury in Baltimore. There was a trial. They had a black judge. They had a black jury. They had a black prosecutor. They had a black alleged victim and a black police officer, the defendant, on trial. The jury of his peers, primarily most black on the jury, they couldn't come up with the unanimous decision. So it was a hung jury, a mistrial. But now these rotten bastards protesting, and then the president of the NAACP in Baltimore, well, we hope we can get justice. No justice to those rotten bastards, not the NAACP, but to the protesters, black and white, the criminals. Justice is what they want, not what the court system's going to give them. If these people aren't found guilty, there's going to be riot in the streets. So you know what's going to happen. They're going to find these people. We'd rather find this guy that's innocent guilty than have the bums, both black and white, tear up the town of Baltimore. We got to put a stop to that. It's not the protesters that decide the guilt or innocence. It's a jury of the defendant's peers. That's what we do in this great United States of America. But these protesters, oh no, he wasn't convicted. There wasn't justice. The only justice is vigilante justice to these bastards. They're yelling and screaming. You see in the newspaper pictures, marchers protesting because the jury didn't find him guilty. What would have happened? It was a hung jury. What would have happened in Baltimore if they would have been found, if the defendant would have been found innocent? And that's what people on these juries, they're human beings. You may get some of them, finally, they're being conditioned. Well, you know what? He's innocent, but if we don't find him guilty, they're going to tear up the stores in Baltimore. They're going to ruin our town. Well, hell, let's put that one guy in jail. That's not the way this great judicial system, well, that's the way it works in St. Clair County with all the corruption, but that's not the way our forefathers meant our judicial system to work. Think about it, people. If these protesters don't get a guilty verdict, there's going to be riots in the street. I say you make it a 10-year felony. I say if these guys riot in the street afterwards, put their asses in jail for 10 years. Don't let them go. Don't be like some police officers. Let them get hit. They hit these police officers, and these police officers, knowing they don't have the backing of us, the decent community, they let them get away with it. And if you let somebody steal out of your store today and don't do anything about it, he'll come back tomorrow and the next day, and before you know it, there won't be anything left in your store. Let's remember that, people, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. And this crap just pisses me off. Let's go. This is Bob Romanik. The Grim Reaper of radio, a pissed off Grim Reaper. Let's get together as Americans, people, and stop this bull crap. And you're listening to the all-new KQQZ 1190 AM, simulcasting on KZQZ 1430 AM. Insane broadcasting, America's bi-state voice of freedom, radical radio, and it's going to get worse. But we are, as always, very proud to be the Patriot. If my voice holds out, I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. We're going to be all over. We're going to talk about the Simmons debacle. We're going to talk about all this political corruption going on. We're going to get back to Belleville. We're going down to East St. Louis. We're going wherever freedom needs to be fought. KQQZ 1190 AM will be there. And with your help, with all of your help, not just in St. Clair County, in the state of Illinois, throughout this great country, we all, the decent people, need to unite. Let these politicians know that they're going to do what we tell them to do, not what they want to do. It's not their business they're working for. It's our business that we've hired them to represent us. And that's what we want. We want proper and total representation from our political leaders, and I say that in jest. These aren't leaders. These are, well, never mind. They are something. So people, I may be half nuts, and I'm politically insane. I've never been politically correct. I started being politically incorrect, and I've moved to political insanity. Me, Trump, that's what it takes. And I'm just as goofy as Trump. I could be, they're touting me vice president. I could be his vice president because I'm just as goofy as he is. But what he's doing, he's energizing our country. He's motivating them. He's getting them to think for themselves. He's exposing the crap that's going on, as I am, and I have been for the last 6 years. So together, let's continue to fight the good fight. Let's unite. Let's expose. And at the end of the day, Carl Officer, I love that phrase. At the end of the day, let's destroy these son of a bitches before they destroy our American way of life, the way of life our forefathers fought and died, the way our brave military heroes fought and died to give us. Don't let a few scumbag cockroaches, parasitical, political punk politicians destroy it and take it away after all this hard work. So let's destroy them, and I have to disclaimer, destroy them politically, of course, right here on the dark side.
They're coming to take me away, ha-ha. They're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha. To the funny farm where life is beautiful all the time. And I'll be happy to see those nice young men in their clean white coats. And they're coming to take me away, ha-ha.
The Patriot.
Your First Amendment and All-American Station. A division of Insane Broadcasting. Renegade Radio.